Very excited to be here with Cobra Page of Kobra and The Lotus, currently on tour in support of the brand new Prevail 2. Cobra, welcome to Psychobabble.
Thank you very much.
Here. Now we'll talk about the new music in a minute, but let's set the table for people who might not be familiar with Kobra and The Lotus. Formed in Calgary, Alberta in 2009. This is your 5th album?
Yeah, this is our 5th album, that's right.
Good Lord. Okay, so you're a little girl growing up in Canada, you find out you have a gift for singing, you have all these musical options at your fingertips. Was there a specific incident or artist that made you say, metal?
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest.
Hands down. They were on their Painkiller tour, and my dad took me to see
How old
Judas
were you?
Priest. I was 15, actually.
Okay.
I got into punk before I got into metal. Yeah, so I found a place in punk rock music, and then I saw Judas Priest. I'd even heard Iron Maiden like a few years before that, and it never was what clicked me onto this. I heard Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. I remember I had the album, but it was Judas Priest, Painkiller that really locked it in for me at that point in time. And I said, okay, alternative music might have a place for my kind of vocals that I naturally have, because I can only use what I'm born with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you
So
do
it
it
started
very well.
something.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So let's talk about Prevail 2. Now, Prevail 2 is the second part of a two-part process. Prevail 1 came out last year. Why are these two linked? Why were they not separate projects?
Well, they were done as one body of work because our intention was to release it all as once, as a double album. So we did do that. We recorded, mixed, mastered everything all at once. Then we picked the order after.
Okay.
So these are all from the same period of time when we were in Denmark, 2016. 3 months. We wrote 70% of the material organically there, off the floor, which made for some really special stuff. That's why these albums, I think, also have certain elements that are even more virtuous than the other ones in certain ways. There's just a level of, I guess, connection between us when we were writing in the studio. So,
well, it must have been a very positive time for you. Thematically, especially on Prevail 1, all these songs are really even when you're talking about Hell on Earth, Devil's Inside Me, you're kind of ambivalent about it. So it's really, and Manifest Your Destiny, my God, you know, it's go for it. Was that a reflection of something you were going through, or are you just a naturally positive person?
I mean, I think there's a lot of dark elements on Prevail 1 and 2 as well. It's all about being honest about who I am as a human and what I see and what I feel like I reflect out there in the world and what people reflect back to me. And so I'm just trying to touch on elements that I think are important to highlight and just be very honest. I do think that anyone is like capable of letting their true nature slip away from them for a moment in time. So these albums are really about human experience, and that's why the lyrics are more clear than ever before. They're very honest lyrics.
So, and melodically, now do these things come to you? Take me a little bit through the writing process, because these are huge, sweeping, epic songs. Do they come to you as a little melody and you just keep expanding on it, or does it come to you as something big?
You know, every song is actually its own unique writing process. Sometimes it starts with one little idea that can be like an electronic do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and then Gotham is built from that with all of us. And there can be songs like Let Me Love You, where it was just a simple acoustic track. That's why we put that acoustic on there, because that was the demo, and I loved the demo that we wrote. And that just happened so easily with no, effortlessly. It was a very quick song that offered itself up, and then we completely rewrote the music to make the heavy version of Let Me Love You.
Okay.
Even though the lyrics and vocal melody are pretty much the same. It's interesting. All these things come along differently, though. They all had a different process from each other.
Well, and even with the plethora of material you had, 20 new songs, you still included a cover of Fleetwood Mac's The Chain. What was it about that song that you said it's got to be part of this?
Well, Prevail 1 had a closer, Prevail, and this album, Prevail 2, needed a strong closer that had a unifying message for both Prevails. It needed to be a closer that just had the right message to end everything on, and that for me was we are a chain and we're all together. That's not what they said in Fleetwood Mac. It's like, we'll never break the chain, but then there's a bunch of dark lyrics. I changed it.
Okay.
So the lyrics are not quite what Stevie Nicks wrote, but I love Rumors. That's one of the most pinnacle albums that has been one of my loves in my life.
Fleetwood Mac and Judas Priest.
Yeah, but I would say Fleetwood Mac more than Judas Priest. Like,
Okay.
I love classic rock.
Okay.
And I'm a flower child, but I vibe with the hard, primitive drums and beats and everything that metal brings, this drive.
Yeah.
And energy. So I just thought it was interesting to also throw in a curveball for people, because they always expect us to do things that are already in our vein, which is, I'm so disinterested in doing like Ronnie James Dio. I love Dio. I don't want to cover it because I sing like Dio sometimes, like people say. So, you know, why would I do that? So the chain was different, and we made it our own, and we wrapped the album up with a good message.
That's awesome. You got a lot of fans out there. What do you need them to know?
I just need them to know I notice all of their effort, and I notice everything that they do to support the band in every way that they can. And I think it's so wonderful because music and the arts is just it's almost like writing a song in my head. It's like a collaborative effort, because it takes everything for it to happen. And so I just want them to know how much I appreciate them and what they do.
Well, and we appreciate what you do. If you haven't picked up Prevail 1 and 2, get out there and pick them up and catch Kobra and the Lotus out on the road.
Thank you very much.
Kobra.